Hello, fellow warriors against consensus, the reality. Lovers of truth, wisdom, the esoteric path. Irreverence, sarcasm, slayers of two-faced, hypocritical gobshites. Oh, how I love this time of the year. Autumn and winter are my favourites. And no more jogging, snooty, loud gobshites at the wee hours of the morning. It's a perfect time for a lone wolf like myself and someone with hermit tendencies to be out and about because there's hardly anyone around. And of course, people in Australia think this is freezing. I was on the bus the other day, and yeah, it was a little windy. There was a little bit of a nip in the air, but nothing to be freaked out over. I had shorts on and one of those long sleeve t-shirts, and even that I had rolled up to the elbow. And I made a post about, because I always like to take the piss out of Australians when and where I can, especially when it comes to the weather, because these people think this is actually freezing. And so I thought I would do what I do. And one friend I knew from high school, more of an acquaintance than a friend, I would say, but he said, "Oh yeah, it is freezing. I've got the heater full on." I'm thinking, the heater full on? Why? It's comfortable. It's nowhere near what would pass as cold. And of course, I know people who do live in parts of the world where December and January are absolutely hellish as far as temperatures go. And Australians have no idea. They think that 12 degrees Celsius is freezing. As Hank Azaria's character Hector in the film America's Sweethearts would say, they're pussy boys. It's incredible. But that is what it is. But I mention that because it's all about perception, perspective, and I suppose it's been going on since at least 2014, perhaps 13. The war on culture and this wokeism that's been purposely allowed to infect all aspects of culture and mainstream whatever, and to turn and to take things that people loved for decades, Doctor Who, Star Trek, Star Wars, and turn them to absolute shite, right? And the thing that I find, imagine if you will, a world where dissenting opinions are labelled with any kind of cringeworthy est under the sun these days. Imagine a world where one is so sensitive that they need a safe space from opposing opinions and perspectives. Imagine, if you will, a world where men are attacked in any manner that they can, short of giving us a little yellow star and putting us in striped pajamas and putting us in a certain camp, where men are attacked, and what makes us men great and contributes to all the wonderful things that we've imagined and created. Imagine if they call that toxic masculinity, and then on the other breath they dare to ask, "Oh, where have all the real men gone?" We've gone our own way and are no longer engaging in mainstream society. That's where we've gone. I think you'll find that an increasing number of men are actually quite like myself, lone wolf and hermit for the most part. Disengaging and disconnecting more and more from as many aspects of modern society as we can. Because that's the world we're living in. I mean, this was a meme that I like to joke about when there's any kind of natural disaster or whatever. And I tell people, I've posted this a few times on Facebook. Fuck knows how I'm still on there, but anyway. Namely, when the shit hits the fan and it's crisis time, no one runs to a feminist. No, because you'll find it's incredible. These same women that go on about, oh, we want to be treated like men and patriarchy. Yeah, you've always had to say it in the American female voice. Patriarchy. And all this kind of fucking nonsense. Are the first ones that turn into snivelling little girls when it's shit hits a fan, crisis time. You notice? But there it is. But imagine a world where they, quote unquote, they, the people that really run all the world governments and really tell them what to do, right? The multi-billionaires who want to remove most of the world's population and see us as nothing but resource-sucking numbers. The unwashed masses, right? And imagine a world where they secretly fear us and thereby keep us divided and fighting amongst each other and try to make us as stupid as possible, as tired and lazy as possible, working us to the bone to even these days get even a basic living. And so to the point where the typical person is so tired at the end of the day that they have no energy or motivation to do anything except eat and flop themselves in front of the TV. And of course that is purposely done that way to keep people just this way, passive and mindless consumers without any critical thought faculties, without any ability to improve their lives, without even any thought to improve their lives. You'll find that most normies are just mindlessly living their lives, doing their little slave wage earning jobs and and trying to turn that into a status symbol. Ooh, what? One of the first questions people in an Anglo country like Australia ask, what do you do for a living? Who fucking cares? Right? What are your dreams? What are you passionate about? What do you think about life and how it's to be lived? But no. Do you have a car? Oh, I've been told this a couple of times. Oh, you're your age and you don't even have a driver's license. That's unusual, isn't it? Yeah, some of us aren't mindless drones, right? Some of us actually see more than we let on. Some of us know more than we let on. Some of us are happy in a way. Some of us are so okay with ourselves that we have no problem whatsoever spending the majority of our time with ourselves. Right, when you reach that kind of level, you've got real power. Because you've seen so many people getting married and not being in any way, shape or form in love or connected in any way. They're just together because they're so deathly afraid of dying alone. Right? I don't know about you, but when it's my time, I'm going to have a whole crowd of family members waiting for me. Right? My mother and grandmother being among them. Like, fuck, you know. But that is what it is. And of course, the whole game, the attack on everything we love, like I said, all aspects of culture and whatever, beloved film franchises and TV shows and all that wonderful stuff. Except books, because hardly, really these days, less people read. I mean, geez, you play an MMO like The Lord of the Rings Online. Most people couldn't even be bothered reading the quest dialogue boxes. Yeah, that's how lazy people are. People want everything in a nice bite-sized 10, 20-second chunks of information. And of course, they control all media outlets which provide that. And of course, because people are so lazy and fucking clueless and no desire to improve their station in life, they just go along with it. Look how many people bought toilet paper at the supermarket when the scamdemic first started. And now suddenly healthy people who run and do this and that, and healthy women at the age of 31, I know that I was reading a story just the other day, and athletes, world level athletes are dropping dead unexpectedly from heart issues. And what are they calling it? Sudden adult death syndrome. No, it's called an experimenting blood clotting poison that you've made most people inject themselves with 1, 2, 3, 4, fucking 5 times, right? Some of us are actually pure blood and proud to be so. We haven't had a cold in, 2 years. Funny that, right? And even here, even in New South Wales, in Australia, they have it so that you're wearing a mask in public transport without any sign of removing it. And I'm thinking, I'm sorry, I've got lung issues and what have you, and I would not wear a mask on the bus forever. I go on the bus without a mask and I get off without a mask. And no one says anything because deep down everyone's realising that, oh fuck, people aren't dropping dead in the streets like they said they would. But yes, imagine a world where people like Lenny Henry, who have not been relevant since, well, geez, the 90s, right, are what they call race grifters. You know, people of dark skin who, usually in an Anglo country, of course an Anglo country, because people from real countries where they have dark skin are some of the nicest people you'll talk to. I know because I have done. Who is what we call a race grifter. Using race and bashing everyone over the head with racism, anyone who disagrees, and looks at the recent Amazon farce that is called The Rings of Power. Some of us have been a fan of Tolkien for over a decade or so before those silly films were even made to begin with. And no, they're not the pinnacle of creation. There are a lot of things wrong with the original Lord of the Rings film trilogy. Yeah, it wasn't Arwen at the river crossing. It was actually someone else. But of course, there was no real love triangle. But anyway, Glorfindel, I think it was, who was saving Frodo and Strider from the pursuing Nazgul ringwraiths. So yeah, it wasn't Arwen at all. But anyway, there it is. And yeah, many issues with the film trilogy, which I saw, but the characterizations were spot on for the most part, and hobbits looked like hobbits are supposed to look. Considering it's based on Norse and Anglo-Saxon mythology, right? So you're not going to actually exactly find Africans in these mythologies, right? I know, shocking. The most beloved mythologies in the Western world are European. I know. If you want something with your own race of people, create your own fucking culture instead of stoking the flesh pots of deepest Africa. But anyway, when you were doing that, we were creating Western civilization. You're welcome once again, right? There are times when I do agree with the boorish, cringeworthy dad in My Big Fat Greek Wedding, because some of the points he says are actually spot on. But I won't get into a whole thing about the Ottoman Greeks versus the Hellenes. That's a whole different other thing. But imagine, before I go, a world where most everybody, the vast majority of people, have forgotten their own true, deep-seated, innate power. Because, yeah, we have, as if you can, some of you who remember that Simpsons episode where Lisa was singing that protest song, they have the plant, but we have the power, right? Because I was striking against Mr. Burns, who was doing something to the nuclear power plant. So they were marching and protesting outside. We march day and night by the big cooling tower. They have the plant, but we have the power, right? That's right, we do have the power. I'm sure you've seen the illustration of people sort of hunched over, like kneeling on their knees, and the suits, they, quote unquote, they have placed a game board on the people with pieces that they move around at their will and whim, right? All the people have to do is stand up and the game is over. But they won't, because most people are fucking sheep. Most people are stupid. Most people are gobshites. That's the way it is. Which is why many of us are lone wolf and hermit. And the last 2 years of Scamdemic have revealed the worst traits of modern humanity, which, again, gives us pause and satisfaction in knowing that our path of the lone wolf and the hermit is a correct one in this day and age. Oh yeah, if you have a very, 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 very small group of people that you talk to, hang on to them, because they are worth more than gold or cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, all these MGTOW channels who are trying to flog cryptocurrency. It's incredible how many of these guys are releasing video after video from their cars, which means they can't do so in their own homes because the wife or girlfriend is probably there, right? Yeah, strong, successful male, I'm talking to you. Sydney MGTOW, I'm talking to you, right? These guys who make videos from their cars, why can't you do so from your home? Oh, because a wife or girlfriend is there, right? Oh, you're going to do a Howard Dare, are you? Right. Let's be married but pretend we're MGTOW. Yeah, great. Why should I fucking listen to you? But there's a whole different other video. But the funny thing is about that, before I go, it's modern MGTOW, it's filled with brain-dead gobshites. Some of the guys I've spoken to over the years are really salt-of-the-earth men who know this stuff and are realising the truth in their own time, in their own way. Those are the ones I still talk to and engage with. But many of them, they've just thoroughly brainwashed. It really is. They've been thoroughly brainwashed. So, you need to invest in cryptocurrency. Well, when you have people like Warren Buffett say, I wouldn't spend $45 on all the cryptocurrency in the world, you got a wee bit of a problem, right? Wake the fuck up. You're paying for digital air. It's not based on anything, gold or anything. It's just digital fluff you've decided to call it currency. I can create a so-called crypto coin tomorrow and call it the anti-gobshite coin, right? It's not nothing. It's digital fluff. And they still are subconsciously simping. Oh, if you go to the gym and build the perfect six-pack body and you have a flashy car, nice clothes and whatever, what, you're going to make yourself attractive to women? What the fuck for? If you're going your own way, what the fuck for? Oh, but some of you want to cherry pick. You want to fuck, but also pretend to be MGTOW. Right. So you want to be pussy beggars, and simp, but still call yourself MGTOW. I'm sorry, but you're either one or the other. You can't have it both ways. Yeah, and that's why my little channel's not going anywhere, because I'm one of the very few who actually speaks the truth, and I'm not afraid to fucking do so. I've been a monk for 14 years. Been there, done that, thanks. I don't do it to impress you. I do it because I look around me and I'm thinking, you know what? The women here where I'm finding myself in Australia at the moment, no thank you, they're cunts. Nasty, promiscuous, pierced, tattooed, drunken, smoking. Oh, that's one of the biggest turn-offs for me, seeing a woman smoke. Oi! Uncouth, uncultured, whores. There are some old-fashioned girls, and most of them are happily married for many, many years. The ones that aren't, they do exist. And if you find yourself meeting one, then grab hold and go nuts. But they're very, very, very few and far between. But just realise, if you're going to get anything from my ramblings today, just realise one thing. You've got the power to change any part of your life that you're unsatisfied with. If you've got traumas that you need to release and face and deal with, yeah, that's going to hurt like hell, because you're going to feel the emotions from earliest childhood all over again. And that's just the way it is. That's the initiation, if you will. But you've ultimately got the power to control your life. You have the power to control the flow of information, because that's what, quote unquote, they want. They want to control, and they're doing it. All sources of information. Why do you think they're censoring everything? Why do you think all these idiots with the mail channels are saying effernest and bedroom fun and fuck knows what other code word bullshit that they're trying to do, because they still want to suck at the teat of YouTube monetization? Well, I'll find it. I'm down to 150 subs. I don't give a fuck. Right? I don't give a fuck. I'm going to speak the truth until all my channels are gone, and then I'll probably be on Odyssey. Right? I do have my Reef Mogos channel there as a backup, by the way. But that is what it is. I mean, you've got the power to change any aspect of your life that you will. And the ultimate goal, the ideal goal for oneself, I would believe, is to be as happy as possible in your life, as satisfied as possible in your life. And usually I found from my own experience, leading a simple, happy, authentic life is the way to do it. And stop fucking pretending that you're something you're not. Alright, so many of you guys, fuck. To speak the truth is a very lonely path. The irreverent, sarcastic, heathen hammer wielding, gobshite slaying lone wolf on guitar. 8.